What is up, people? So today I want to walk you through what it's like to record in a home recording studio. I'm not like the top call session dude on planet Earth, but I track songs from home a bunch for people, and I want to walk you guys through for those of you who do it and want to learn how other people do it, or for those of you that have never done it and want to kind of get used and see what it's all about. I'm going to walk you through what it's like. I have a producer friend of mine out in Lincoln, Nebraska, who last night sent me 6 songs. So I'm just going to kind of walk you guys through exactly what goes on. So the first thing that I do, producer sent me all the tracks. They came in last night. So what I did is I downloaded them all to my computer and then I categorized each song into its own folder here. And then if you go look inside the folder, I have the Logic session that I'll be working on. And then, so this is super important. The producer sent me a song, a bounce of the song, a 2 mix, which is essentially an entire rough mix of the whole song with drums and without drums. And he listed the BPM. So it's super important when you mail tracks to people to maintain the BPM. And for me, if he sends me a rough cut of like MIDI drums or something, it's so much easier for me to jump in and record the song because I know the vision and kind of the direction he wants. So the instructions he gave me were basically, hey, listen to the drums, see what it inspires in you, and then run with it and give me 1 full pass of the song. So for each of these songs, there'll be 2 full passes. One of my passes will be kind of tame, programmed, very reserved, not very reserved, but not a whole lot of fancy stuff, like almost like someone programmed a drum groove. Simple, fat grooves, just whatever. And then the second pass will be, he kind of said, go for it, get a little crazy, whatever. So this is what it looks like, and then I'll show you in Logic. This is my template. When I open it up, it has all of the drums, everything I need in it. It has all the overhead. So literally all I have to do, when I load it in, all of the buses that I usually use are muted. And then all of my EQ and all of that stuff are off, right? So this is giving me just totally raw drums, which when I send it to this producer particularly, he wants all of the drums, no processing, no compressor, no EQ, no nothing. He just wants them totally raw. But literally, once I load this up for this song, we're going to go to 102 BPM. And then I'm going to load in these tracks. Now those tracks are loaded in, and all I have to do is hit save, and I'm gonna save the file as get up, and I'm gonna put it in the Dropbox. All right, so right before I start tracking the song, pro tip, so click bleed is something you never want, and click bleed is when you're tracking something and the click is too loud, so when you track the drums, you can actually hear the click track from your headphones or whatever you're listening through. So I usually like to tune the click track to the key of the song so that if you can ever hear it, and I also like lower the click track volume. So that is what the click track sounds like now, as opposed to when you first open up the click track, it is much more high-pitched and stuff. So I took the tonality down, and I made it much lower. So that will disguise itself better. If there is any click bleed, that'll disguise itself a little bit better. So pro tip. All right, so the first song up is this song called Big Groove. That's probably a working title. He told me that all of these are just rough like edits of stuff. So none of this is probably final. These are not the final mixes. There's no vocals on anything. This probably isn't the title it will be forever, but I just write really quick. Since all his stuff is pretty simple and he's giving me a lot of freedom, I just wrote a quick overview chart of what grooves happen in what sections, and it looks like this. Let me see if you can see that. So that's what it looks like, and as you can see, it's just 4 bars for the intro, and I wrote out kind of the vibe of the groove, and then there's a bigger section, and like I don't even know if these are verses or choruses or whatever, so I literally just wrote A section, B section, C section, B section, A section, B section. So every time a new section comes up, I give it another letter, and then when I hear that repeated, I just go back and say that was the B section. I'm not really thinking about what's the verse and whatever. I'm thinking, okay, these are the drums he programmed on this section, these are the drums he programmed on this section, and now what am I going to do with it? So I'll walk you through the drums, and then you guys will see where it goes from here. All right, I'm just going to walk you through real quick what the studio looks like, what's going on. Some of you guys have never even seen this much of my studio, so it'll be exciting. So here's the desk, chair, computer, and then over here are the drums. So as you can see on this wall over here, there's a huge acoustic panel. That's like a 4-foot by 8-foot wall acoustic panel, 3-inch acoustic panel, and then over here you have taller panels. So these are the drums. I think on most of this, I might swap out snare drums. Right now there's a Supraphonic on there. But these 18-inch hi-hats are probably going to be on everything. And then 20-inch Constantinople ride cymbal I'll use as a crash. And then a Pisces Giant Beat ride that is probably what I'm going to use on most of this stuff because it's pretty rock and roll and like aggressive. And then if you're sitting at the drums, that is what Logic looks like. I have a TV over here that has Logic. So yeah, that's a little bit of what it looks like. That's a little bit of what it looks like to be at the drums. So sorry for the shaky cam, but I just wanted to give you guys a look at what that is all about. Alright, so first song is done. I'm ready to bounce it out and send it to my producer buddy. So all these tracks that I just recorded, I'm going to highlight all their regions, and it's important that, so when I was recording, I don't come in until bar 13. So I had the cycle bar to start right at bar 13. But it's important when I send these tracks to him that I bounce out from 0. So his MP3 he sent me starts from all 13 bars before I started recording, right? So I want to make sure that because I don't record until bar 13, I bounce out from 0. So I'm going to put my cycle bar all the way at the beginning, and then I'm going to highlight all the regions I want to export, which are these 9 tracks, kick through overheads. And then I'm going to hit Command E. And then I've already actually bounced these out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a folder. I'm going to say this big groove, this is pass number 2. And then down here, I'm going to make sure that bypass effect plugins is enabled because I do not want to send any kind of processing to him, EQ, compression, none of that, and I don't want to include any volume, pan, anything like that. So basically you hit save and it'll start bouncing that stuff out. And then he has a bunch of tracks, as you can see here. This is actually what it looks like when it's done, since I've already done this. As you can see here, and it's in a nice, neat folder. All these songs will be bounced out from his 0. So literally all he has to do is highlight these, drag them into Pro Tools, which he uses Pro Tools. That's why, I would actually, if he used Logic, I would send him this whole project. But he uses Pro Tools, so I bounce it out. He just has to highlight these, drag them into Pro Tools. He's good to go. He's ready. And same with Pass 1. That safer pass that I recorded. Pass 1 is there. Same thing. Highlight these, drag them into Pro Tools. Good to go. So yeah, that's pretty much all it is. You do this 6 times over, and then that's the day. All right. Thank you for watching. As you can tell, well, I don't know if you can tell, it is now like 4. I started today at probably 11, and it's now 4. That is because 6 songs is a lot of songs, but also I took a long break for lunch and did some other work. But yeah, I hope that gives you a peek inside what it's like to track drums at home, or just like my workflow and what I do. You know, a lot of you have only ever seen me teach lessons, so it's cool to do something like this because you get to see a different side of what I do, which is I actually play music for a living, not just talking to you about playing music for a living. I play music for a living. So all of basically once I bounce out all the songs, they're up in Dropbox now. And I'll talk to Phil, the producer, tomorrow, and he'll let me know whether he wants any corrections or anything. Because he gave me pretty free reign on everything, so he'll let me know tomorrow. Hey, you went this direction with it, but I would actually go this direction or whatever, and then it'll all be done. He'll pay me over the internet, and that is the cool thing. You know, a lot of people complain a bunch about the music industry and how it's broken, and I think there are a lot of things that are, you know, streaming has changed stuff. There's so much stuff that has changed, and it doesn't work the way it used to, but it is so cool that today I never left my house, and I recorded 6 songs for someone that are going to be on an album sometime next year, you know? Thanks for watching. Give it a like, give it a follow, give me a subscribe. I don't know, man. Like, do your thing. Put it in the comment section, like, whatever. And then I'll see you around for the next video.